And as you see, the protesters just lie down on the ground. We have news choppers finally giving this some attention, the attention that it deserves. The police are making demands now. They're pretty unclear. They're speaking low, but they're making demands. And we have another protester that just joined. And it seems that although North 395 is clear of protesters, they're still telling these cars to go the other way. So, in fact, now it's the police that are blocking traffic. It's the police and not the protesters that are blocking traffic on 395 North.
The Washington Post Instagram me and asked if they use my photos.
Better get some money. Couple dollars. And now I think they're taking it very serious. We have reporters here from other news outlets covering this. They're taking this very seriously, and it looks like police, we're going to keep rolling here. Looks like police are getting the plastic handcuffs, preparing to arrest several people. They're arresting one right now. As we speak, they're arresting one protester right now, and they're letting some traffic go through. A very peaceful demonstration of our civil rights.
What you've just seen was the protesters in Washington, D.C. after the grand jury came back on a no bill on the Michael Brown case. This is 30 Frames a Second. I'm Greg Lassiter, and we have a great show for you today. Don't go anywhere. Don't touch that dial. We'll be right back.
Where the victim is now the perpetrator and the perpetrator is now the victim. And that just drives me crazy.
Hi, I'm Greg Lassiter. I'm the host of 30 Frames a Second today, this week, and I got no other than the man himself with me again, Nat Wood. Welcome, man. How are you?
Hey, brother. How you doing?
Good, man. And listen, man, the no bill. I don't even know where to start. I have an issue, okay? I have a lot of issues, so we're gonna knock them out one by one. The no bill that the grand jury came back on the Michael Brown case, as far as Darren Wilson, there was no probable cause. It's crazy, right? That's one. Now let's go to the flip side of it. How did Michael Brown even become involved with Darren Wilson? You're hearing conflicting stories where he said he strong-armed store owner for a box of cigars. Now, I personally don't, there's no evidence of that.
No.
There's no evidence. And then there was when Michael Brown walked up to Darren Wilson, reached in the car and punched him and ran away. Now, the evidence just doesn't make sense.
Correct.
Help me understand that.
Well, there's a few things that were said that are just lies. There was a videotape. There was a press conference, and the chief of police stated categorically that Darren Wilson had no knowledge at all of any cigar store strong arm, whether it occurred or not. So that was just an out-and-out lie.
Right.
Darren Wilson was coming from another case. He had no knowledge of any store robbery. So the only thing that we can go by is the fact that he stopped two men who were apparently walking down the highway.
Right.
And something happened. Now he lied about he out and out lied about the first incident. There was also a report on MSNBC that there were instructions given to the jury,
Right.
The grand jury, that was erroneous.
Correct.
That they, the prosecutor, the district attorney, had one of his assistants read a law that was ruled unconstitutional
1987.
In 1987.
That's correct.
You know, so there are a lot of things that went into getting the grand jury to vote not to indict Darren Wilson. That was just inaccurate, misleading,
Right.
duplicitous,
Right.
damn lies, however you want to put it.
But you know what? Okay, everything about this case stinks to high hell. And let me tell you why. Eric Holder, who's now resigned from the Justice Department as Attorney General.
Correct.
He resigned. He went down there to investigate himself.
Right.
I think Eric Holder epic fail at his job. Okay. Now he knew I think he knew what the verdict was going to be. Hence why he resigned.
Well, there's some things that have not been addressed. The biggest thing, the justice going down there and ascertaining whether or not they should prosecute Darren Wilson or whether or not they should investigate the Ferguson police or the St. Louis police or the whole damn police force in the United States is kind of irrelevant.
How so?
Because the biggest problem that we have had, well, we've had a number of problems.
Right.
But when it comes to the judicial system, getting some sort of fair disposition of the evidence as it relates to police force,
Right.
you know,
Right.
and people of color, is the fact that there is a strong relationship between the district attorney and the police department itself.
Right.
And
Well, that's in every city and that's in every case. Yeah.
Single
Right,
case.
right.
So it really doesn't matter whether you're for the police or against the police.
Right.
If you're against the police, if you look to the evidence and you try to do it fairly, you get the police against you, and no district attorney can operate under those circumstances. If you're just 100% behind the police, then you don't do the job that you were assigned to do, which is to try to bring about a prosecution of this case. So until they get some sort of arbitrator who is not connected to the police department,
Right.
I do not see how instances of police misconduct or police deadly force or police abuse as it relates to the community, and especially people of color, can
Right.
come out to some sort of fair conclusion.
Well, here's the thing, too. Well, I see the district attorney has to work in concert with the police.
Correct.
To get the proper evidence to prosecute a case. Now, with that said,
Correct.
Now, the issue is they both get paid by the same people. Okay.
Right,
So
right,
that right there
right,
says,
right.
where is the fairness in that?
Right,
You know.
right,
So,
right.
but.
And the prosecutor needs the police. The police
Right.
don't need the prosecutor.
Right. But the prosecutor itself, you know, he presented this case.
Right.
And the way he presented the case, if you look at the transcripts, I read the transcripts, it wasn't, when you present a case, you have to present it, I think, unbiasedly.
That's never going to happen.
But it definitely didn't happen in this case.
It's never going to happen when you're looking at cases of police misconduct, especially when the misconduct is directed toward poor people of color. Poor people in general. If you ain't got no money, then you kind of at the mercy. But especially poor black and brown people.
Right.
They're never going to get that. The prosecutor ultimately takes on the job as the defense attorney for the police
Right.
in the issue of the grand jury. You have to have someone who is not beholden to the police department to at least try to prosecute a case.
Well, then that's where, you know what, there's a lot of misconduct going on in majority of the police departments across the country.
Correct.
Now,
Correct.
Now, obviously, the DA can't police the police department because
Correct.
they need him.
They need them.
Because once they piss off the police department,
Correct. They can't do their job.
They
They can't do their job.
See, and that's a problem. That's always been a problem. That's always been a problem.
And it will always be a problem.
Unless, and that justice needs to step in.
Correct. That's
Justice-
what Eric Holder could have done.
But he didn't.
He didn't. He's
Right.
looking at one case and the issues of one case. But
Right.
but the one case this is why you have demonstrations all across this nation.
Right.
The demonstration that they showed in Washington D.C.
Right.
That's Washington D.C. That's
Right.
not Ferguson.
No.
They had demonstrations in New York.
Right.
Because in point of fact, this same scenario is being played out over and over and over again all
over the
across
country.
the country.
Yo, but here's, not yo, sorry, but here's the issue I'm
You
having.
can say yo. No.
Here's the issue I'm having. Protesting is, I'm just not about protesting. They don't give jack about we lay down. Marches
Yes,
just,
they do.
But they don't, not.
Yes, they do.
You know how we can help them? We
Yes,
can
they
help
do.
economically.
That's what they did.
But
That's what they
how
did.
so?
They had protests in a major shopping mall
Oh, right,
on
right.
Black Friday where
Right.
they shut down the mall. They just laid down in the stores.
That's my idea of protest
Correct. When you lay down in the middle of the I-395 and stop traffic, bring traffic to a halt, that is effective. Just walking down the street and in your little silent prayer visual is not effective.
No,
it
it's
does
not.
not affect the money.
They don't
when
care.
you're looking at Black Friday, when you're looking at this time of year, when you shut down, and remember the shopping mall that they shut down in St. Louis is as big as like what 20 football fields or what?
Right,
It's
right.
massive. You
Right.
shut that down.
Right.
You are literally into the money.
Right.
This is soldiering up. This is strategic. This is not just like, okay, we're going to bring attention to an issue. And the fact that this is done all across the country
Right.
brings attention to the fact that this is a nationwide dilemma and that people are actually looking into ways to effectively get into the pockets of individuals as to affect some sort of change.
This also went as far as London. I don't know if
Correct.
that, London was
Correct.
protesting the verdict as well. So
Correct.
it's sad that this one case had to do that. This should.
It just took a long time.
But you know what?
I mean, it
But
was
we gotta
building
keep.
up.
But
It
we
was
gotta
building
keep.
up.
We gotta keep
You got
doing
it.
it.
You got it. Right.
We have to keep doing it to effectively make it work.
But the reason why I believe this was so effective is because there was no leaders who could take credit for it.
Right.
There was no Jesse Jackson. There was no Cornel West. These were groups. This was of the people, by the people.
Right.
There's nobody who's like negotiating with Mayor De Blasio
Right.
or playing with Sasha and Malia, trying to talk to the president
Right.
and get him to, there's no black caucus involved and
Right.
whatnot. It's literally out of their hands, which makes it even more frightening.
And effective. Right.
But it makes it more frightening because now you can't go to the black church
Right.
and get them to pacify the people.
Right.
Because the people will not be
They're not having it.
pacified.
They're not having it. But now, which brings me to the next question. You know who I'm a fan and I'm not a fan of.
Yes.
I'm not a fan of, and I'm not
Many
even
of
afraid to say
many of the political,
black political leaders. Please explain to me what effect did Jesse Jackson or Al Sharpton have on Ferguson?
Well, not just on Ferguson.
On any case.
Right. They have not affected any sort of change in the system that is just gone buck wild.
Right.
First of all, you have police forces all over the country, all over the United States, that are, in effect, unorganized rabble with the firepower of militias.
Right.
They have tanks and they have military weaponry all over the country. They are being paid to affect change. They are being paid. They are privatized in the prison system. The privatized prison system cannot operate unless it is guaranteed 90% filled to capacity.
Right.
It is, and the political, the privatized prison system trades on the market, is the fastest trading stock
ever. Yeah, and it's very profitable.
Right, in the
very
world.
Profitable, yeah.
Some of the biggest investors in the world are like fully committed to this endeavor. They are sending Humvees and tanks and SWAT units to little places where there's nobody there but Timmy and Lassie, and paying them big money to come up with these numbers.
Right.
So and the people that you are talking about are likewise paid with millions of dollars in corporate money. Al Sharpton is paid in corporate money.
Don't let that, people don't get that full. Al Sharpton is not down there doing it for anything, doing it for nothing.
They have the same. They have the same. Restrictions that the prosecutor has. I mean, this is the guy who puts the oatmeal in their bowls and pays for their children's private school.
Well, you know,
what are you going to do?
See, here's the thing too, Nat. Let's just take, where do we, when I say we people of color take responsibility for this? Like, when I say that, Nat, I say we people of color take responsibility. All right. And I'm going to say this. When a policeman stops you, comply at all costs. It can save a life. If a policeman stops you, comply. You cannot win that battle. You can't tell me you can win that battle.
I'm going to tell you something. Greg. If you allow the United States to just trample all over your constitutional rights, you've already lost the battle. You might come out alive, but you've lost the battle. If you allow the United States of America to take you back to a person of no consideration at all, then you have lost not only a personal battle, you have lost the war for your ancestors. And remember, complying with the police has not in and of itself guaranteed your safety.
That's true.
Ramarley Graham was in his house, in his bathroom, with nothing but his pee-pee in his hand, and they kicked his door down and murdered this kid. Amadou Diallo was a college student. He was a good citizen. I mean, they tried to malign him, but he was a great citizen. He came to this country because he believed it afforded him opportunity. Not because he was poor, not because he was some sort of street vendor. He was a good and compliant citizen. And they bum rushed him in front of his own house, and while he was trying to identify himself, they slaughtered this boy. They talk about Eric Garner, and they're going to go up with
today.
Eric
That verdict is coming in here. So tell me, Nat, what do you do? What do you tell people? You get stopped. You and I have had the fortune of not being stopped.
No, I was stopped.
I've never been
in front of my own house.
See, I've gotten stopped once in my neighborhood, and I did comply. I did comply then, but I won in the end. So, what would you suggest when a policeman stops you?
Again, I don't know what comply means. I comply.
May I have some ID?
No.
State of New York says they have a right to ask you for a state ID.
And I have a right to say no.
So you gonna give them ID?
No.
They're gonna get arrested. So you
then I'll get arrested and we'll fight it out in court.
That's what I'm saying. Why not comply then?
But I did comply.
No.
I answered every question. But there is nothing that protects you from somebody who's just mean and nasty
I agree.
and evil.
I agree.
There was a kid who was doing some stuff and the cop ran him down. It's on videotape.
Right. I saw that. Yes,
yeah.
I saw that. Yes.
And the cop ran him down
Ran him
and
over.
he stopped.
Right.
He stopped and complied, and the cop just cold-cocked him and whatnot.
Right.
Just beat him to a bloody pulp and whatnot.
Right.
The 12-year-old kid, they talk about, the kid could have had this. There are speakers in the damn automobile system.
Right.
They could have told the kid
to drop the gun.
Drop the gun.
Right,
They
right.
just jumped out the car and shot his ass.
Right.
And if you really believe that he's so dangerous, why would you jump out the car? That makes no sense.
Right.
In literally seconds, they killed this 12-year-old kid.
Something has to be done. Something has to be done. We know what the problems are. Something. Obama has met with the mayors and the leaders. What does that even
gets
mean?
his money from Coca-Cola and Walmart.
What
just
does
like
that
everybody
mean?
else.
What does that even mean? What
It
the
doesn't.
meeting?
It doesn't. It doesn't. It doesn't.
It's placating the
doesn't.
masses.
It doesn't.
That's all it is.
Well, I don't think the masses is going for it anymore.
No.
I think the masses is ripping this son bitch up. And again, it takes a while before steam builds up. But once it builds up,
But not at the same time. Once it builds up, we've seen this over and over again. We've seen it in the Trayvon Martin case.
Right.
It has to keep happening. And the steam, the momentum still has to carry us.
I'm not sure if America is prepared to change its ways.
But you know what? If we keep doing this, America wouldn't have a choice but to change its ways.
But see, this is what I'm correct.
You see what I'm
but
saying?
This is what I'm saying. The phenomenon that you are seeing now has absolutely nothing to do with the National Action Network.
No, nothing.
It has nothing to do with Jesse Jackson.
Rainbow Coalition.
It has nothing to do with the photo op for politicians.
None.
This is of the people, by the people. So just in that sense, it is totally unpredictable.
Right.
It is literally the monkey wrench.
Right.
You did not make it. You cannot control it, and you cannot predict its outcome.
Right.
And more and more and more, people are drawing first attention to the real issues. You know,
and we should have done that long time ago. But you know what? Better
and
late.
finding up with and coming up with strategies.
Right. And that's what we need to be, because how many? You know what? Please, when I say this, don't call in with anything stupid to say.
Now, try not to call in with anything stupid. You can be stupid. You can be stupid.
Well, my problem
but
is
just don't be offensive and
right. Well, my
vile,
problem is
you can be
this.
stupid.
I'm seeing all these people saying,
and I won't even tell you I think you're stupid. I'll probably think it.
Well, my problem, here's my issue. My issue is this. I've been seeing in social media, you and I are in social media together, and I've been seeing people, let God handle it.
Well, yeah, but God didn't pull the trigger.
That's my whole point. Let God handle it.
That's not what God said.
No,
God
but I'm just
said,
saying.
Render to Caesar the things that are Caesar's. Render to God the
that's
things
what
that
I'm
are
over.
God's.
I'm over people saying, well, let God handle it. Is that being sacrilegious?
Let me tell you something what prayer is. Prayer is a way for people to do absolutely nothing and convince themselves that they are
did
doing
something.
the only thing. Right.
I know Sheila's going to be mad.
Well, no. I'm not casting aspersions on religion. That's another day and another show.
Right.
What I'm saying is that religion and the concept of prayer becomes a convenient way for people to opt out of doing anything.
Right. I agree with you. I agree with you on that. So, woman gets on from Ferguson, a photo op, takes up 7 minutes of prime time with a prayer. Good or bad?
Anything that takes up 7 minutes of prime time is good.
Is it effective?
But again,
it's not effective.
It's not designed to be effective.
But it's okay. The design to be effective is one thing. But having that chance, you and I
See,
we're
talking
sitting-
about,
we're here on TV.
Again, correct.
We're making a change.
Correct.
We're on radio.
Correct.
We make a change.
Correct.
All right. What I'm saying is, when you
But
have the masses.
That change was years in the making. That change started years ago from an acorn that was an unlikely scenario that everybody said, "You're a damn fool."
Right.
You're a damn fool. You in that this little clown show station and whatnot, and you're trying to do something, and it'll never make a difference.
And it makes a difference.
And years later, flash forward to years later, we now have mainstream media following us around.
Right. And I'm glad to
Us
say,
around.
I am glad to say, because, audience, we're in New York City.
Right.
We're on 4 channels on the Time Warner
Warner.
network.
Right.
We got the best
And Verizon
in the country.
and RCN.
And RCN. We got the best in the country.
Correct.
We have,
Correct.
and people
Correct.
do.
In the heart of-
mainstream,
in the heart of,
New York
Spring
City.
City, right.
We're in the heart of the city. And we got it. And people follow us.
Correct.
We have people follow us on the radio.
Correct.
People follow us here in MNN.
Correct.
So don't sleep on us.
Correct.
Because
Correct.
we are effective.
Correct.
You know?
Correct.
So now that, like, Jesse Jackson, I watched the piece on CNN, Jesse Jackson.
Mm-hmm.
I was so upset with Jesse because he pretty much co-signed on violence.
Well, the violence thing, one of the things we try to do is, listen, I've made mistakes. I try never to make the same mistake twice. I try to make absolutely sure that I do my research. Sometimes I get some stuff once in a blue moon from a source that is not reputable.
Right.
But that is
have done it.
once in a blue moon, and for the most part, what we present is what happened, when it happened, and how it happened. We try to get the raw footage like we presented initially.
Right.
You know, we show you what's going on.
Right.
We show you the footage from the people, the raw footage. We don't edit the
No, we
footage
don't
that
edit
we
anything.
show.
We
This
just
is
show it.
live
Right.
television.
Right.
We show you what happened.
Right.
We show you the blow being struck, the bullet being pulled,
Right.
what led up to the incident. You know, we don't edit it and tell you what's going on.
Right.
We show
Right.
you what's going on.
We show it as it's happening.
We have become a source where people can actually tune in and see for themselves what's going on and formulate their own opinion.
Right.
That is rare in media today.
That's what media used to be.
That's the way it used to be.
Right, right.
But now it's just a corporate controlled comic book.
Right.
You know, that,
Controlled by idiots.
well, controlled by people who are not interested in media.
Well, okay. The verdict came down. No bill. Michael Brown's stepfather
right.
stands up
Right.
and says, quote, "Let's burn
No,
this bitch
that's not.
down."
That's not what happened.
That's what happened. I saw it.
I got the video.
Yeah, play it, guys. Bring it up. He said he stood up there and said, "Let's burn this bitch down."
Well, maybe that was him, but there was no video camera on his face. But I got the demonstration in the street. And that
When they
seemed
were
to be
standing on the car, and he said-
well, there's no.
When the verdict goes, "Let's
he would
burn
have
this
to be
bitch."
behind the camera. I can't say definitively who said it.
Okay,
I can understand where
Okay,
he was coming from.
But
Listen,
no, Nat,
you know.
I can't understand that.
Yeah, I can.
Because why would I burn down? Yes, I understand him being upset. But why would I burn those people who have the businesses that they did in their
Well,
community?
did you look and see who was actually doing stuff?
The people from Ferguson.
No.
Come on.
No. What people? What people?
What people? The
Yeah.
people that live there. So you wait. No.
Did you watch the video?
Yes, I did watch the video. I
Were
did
any
watch
of
the
those
video.
people white?
No. They're
You're
all black.
lying ass.
No, they're
You're
all black.
lying
They're all
ass.
black
You're
people.
lying
Come on, all the people I
You're
saw
lying
in
ass.
Ferguson.
No. You're talking. I'm not talking
We're talking
about
about Ferguson. I'm talking about Ferguson.
No, I'm talking about the business being burned down in that poor community.
Right.
The turning over the cars. A lot of those kids were white and they had masks on their face.
In Ferguson. Now, wait till I
Wait a
call this
minute,
call
wait a
in.
minute,
We're
wait a
talking
minute,
about
wait a
Ferguson.
minute.
We're talking about the night the verdict
I
came
wish
down.
I was back there, 'cause I'd push it
We're
down
talking
your
about
throat.
the night. No,
I'd
because
push
here's
it
the
down
thing.
your throat. I'd
Here's the
push it
thing.
down your throat.
So you're telling me Remember the
Well, I'm not
beauty
telling you
salon?
anything.
The beauty salon that
I'm
was
not
owned by
telling
2
you
black
anything.
women.
I'm not telling you anything. The only thing I'm telling you is that a lot of those people who took part in
white.
in the destruction were white, and many of them were masked. They had on masks and hats and whatnot.
Let's take this call. Let's take this
okay.
call. Caller, welcome to 30 Frames. Caller, you're on the air.
Oh yeah. You got to bring up pot 5. You got to bring up the thing that says caller, and you got to put on, I think, put on the matrix. But they're working out. We're like short staffed
Today,
because 90% of the crew is still like
On Thanksgiving.
right. on the turkey party.
Okay.
So bear with us, caller. As soon as they can get it up.
But at the same time, that destruction.
Hello?
Yes,
Yeah,
you're on the
you're
air.
on.
Welcome,
You're
caller.
on.
Yeah, Brother Nat, you know, as always, man, award-winning show and the whole nine.
Oh, thank you, brother.
You know what, man, I was listening to your brothers, and, you know, I was thinking about, like, let's go back a few years ago with this brother, Abner Louima, if I'm not mistaken.
Right.
One that was sodomized with a plunger.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Think about it. Unless that man was willing to, like, be sodomized with that plunger, that cop basically had to restrain him, pull his
Right.
drawers down, and slide a wooden stick up that man's right.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
I mean, and think about the reaction after, you know, like when it made the news and whatnot.
Right.
Now, they threw out all these smoke screens. Oh, you know, he was arrested at a party that was gay. I
Right.
even heard something about Haitians had a propensity for.
Right. They liked it like that.
You know,
Yeah.
and think about, like, after this brother had got shot, and, you know, like, how they end up putting this video of supposedly him taking these cigarillos and whatnot.
Correct.
You know, the fix is in.
Correct.
You know, it's amazing how, you know, it's one thing when, you know, the world ain't looking and you subject to the good old boy network, so to speak, and you got a biased DA that's basically going to throw the case. But when they still stick to their guns knowing that the world is still looking, you know what I'm saying, and they do these things like, I have to correct you that actually that law deemed unconstitutional in 1985.
985.
When they
Wow.
did the
Wow.
restructuring with the
Right.
Jews.
187. Thank you.
And everything still stands.
That's almost 30
You know
freaking
what I'm
years
saying?
ago.
Me personally, it's like, all right, we did all that marching and all of that.
Right.
I'm starting to believe when they start finding officers dead in their cars and whatnot, every time somebody is like unjustly shot, maybe they'll start considering what's going on. Because, you know, they always want to talk about, oh, you know, there's good cops and there's bad cops.
Yeah.
Well, the good cops must be on desk duty because all the bad cops are running around killing us.
Right.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Something got to give, man.
Right.
Unfortunately, we gonna have to start sacrificing. Something got to give because, you know, like we
got like 4 calls. Apparently
Right.
the phones are lit
Lit
up.
up.
So
Okay.
I'm gonna let you finish your point, and then we're gonna give some other callers a chance, brother. But you
All
said
right.
a whole bunch of stuff that I really
all
want
right,
to address because you're dead
I just
on.
want to say this: we got to stop acting like it's only gonna happen to other people
Right.
in a different circumstance.
Right.
All you have to do is step out your door, and you're subject to it
Right.
happening. to you.
Absolutely.
Right.
Thank you.
Y'all have peace.
All
Thank you,
right,
brother.
thank you, man.
You want
Thank
to answer that? You want to take another call?
Let's take
Let's
another
take
call.
caller. You're on the air. Welcome to 30 Frames.
Yes, sir. Assalamu alaikum, brothers. How you
Walaikum
doing?
salam,
Wa
brother.
salam.
Yeah, I just want to say the brother was right on point. I've been saying this over and over and over all the time. The only way you're going to stop these racist white devils from murdering black people, children, women, and grandmothers is if you stand up and use the same language with them that they're using with you. What I'm saying is, Malcolm said that you have a right as a human being to defend yourself. If someone kills you, you have a right to kill them. That's the only thing that they respect. Second of all, brother, I want to say this. The prosecutor in the Ferguson case, it was a conflict of interest for him to even be on part of that case. He should have removed himself. This was a conspiracy They knew that they were going to let this cracker off, and that's exactly what they did. What our problem is that we got these house niggas running around here talking about they looting and they doing this, but you never hear them say the white man keeps killing black people for nothing. Why are they speaking about that? And another thing I'm going to say is this here. Obama, he come with this civil rights thing with the police and the community and all this. How you gonna come with something talking about changing something that's been going on for 500 years, and then you say, oh, well, but I don't want y'all to stop using military weapons against controlling people and stopping them from their constitutional rights? He's a hypocrite. Al Sharpton's a hypocrite. We got to come together, organize, and unite, brother. That's the only way we're going to beat this thing. Y'all brothers be blessed, and I thank you for having my comment.
Thank you,
All
brother.
right, thank you, brother.
Let's keep going.
Yeah, we're going to take another couple of calls.
Welcome to 30 Frames a Second. You're on the air.
Good afternoon, brothers. How you doing?
Good
Hey,
afternoon,
how you doing,
brother?
bro?
How you doing?
How you doing, man?
All right.
Thanks for watching.
I don't know whether you guys have selective sight or what, but Brother Lassiter said there's no evidence of Michael Brown taking those cigars, and Brother
There
Lee
isn't.
said, like I said, I don't know whether you guys have the selective sight, and there's no evidence of that black people were actually doing all the looting and everything.
Correct.
But this is what I want to say. That stepfather, the stepfather that got on the stage and said, "Burn this bitch down." They're trying to have him arrested for inciting a riot now. They're investigating him. And it turns out that this man has been arrested and convicted twice for drug trafficking, and he's the stepfather. So you kind of wonder what kind of role model was he setting for Michael Brown.
I agree.
Being in that house, we don't know that. We don't know what goes on behind closed doors. And I just want to say this, gentlemen. 10 years ago in Wisconsin, there was a young man stopped at a traffic stop for drunk driving. He was driving the car with his mother and his sister in the car. He got out the car. He was fighting with the police. The police handcuffed him and shot him in front of his mother and his sister.
Yeah, I remember that.
Okay? This boy was white.
Right.
Okay? And the cop was white. And those people over there are fighting to get the laws changed where police can't investigate police. Independent investigators have to be brought in, and they're using their voice and their vote to get things done. And I think if we use our voice and our vote to get things done and vote these people out that are not benefiting us, we'll be much better off. And we got to stay away from these rabble-rousers and these charlatans who hold up a fist with one hand and stick their hand in your pocket with the other.
Right.
We got to get these people out of there because they're not doing anything to help us. And if anything, they're trying to keep us separate. And we can't work like that.
Right.
Thanks a lot, gentlemen.
All right, thanks for
thank
watching,
you,
man.
brother.
We're going to keep going. We're going to come back to it.
Right.
Carly, welcome to 30 Frames. You're on the air.
Yes, hello?
Hi.
Yeah. I'm a Latin Puerto Rican, and my experience here has been like this, that because I've been arrested by the police, and they give me the feeling that I don't know anything about the law, that I have no money, no power, that I'm ignorant, that I have no education, I'm poor, and they can do whatever they want with me or whoever they arrest. Because when I was in that police car, they slapped you around, they punched you around, and cursed you. I don't know if they all do this, but that was my experience. The other thing is, he said that prayer is used by people to get away from their responsibilities. No, I disagree with you. Because I use prayer, I also meditate, I also fast, because I have a vision to be better, a better individual, and also a vision for the country, to be a better country, where they stop, exploiting people and colonizing the poor by the rich. We get people making $8 an hour, while others are making $2 and $3 million a week. Now, the whole problem is this economic inequality, social inequality, and that's what I think the problem is. Because when they look at you like you're their equal, then they have more respect for you. As long as they look at you like you're less than they are, they're going to keep doing what they're doing. It's not going to stop.
All right, thanks for calling,
All right,
man.
thank you, brother.
We got one. Let's
Yeah, we
continue this.
got a couple.
We'll come back to
Right.
everybody's question. Caller, welcome to 30 Frames. You're on the air. You're on the air, caller.
Hello?
Yes.
Yeah, you're on the air.
Hey, how are you?
How
Good.
you doing, brother?
Good. This is a power show right here. You two brothers. I love to see you two together.
Thanks.
Thank you, man.
Thank you.
I'll be real quick. I got a couple quick questions.
Okay.
The first question is, do you think that the camera deal that President Obama is proposing is sort of like another tool for the white supremacists? And my question to you, first question, is how will white supremacists how will the white supremacists who are wearing those cameras do their job effectively? That's number one. And is also, do you think it's sort of a shadow verdict out already on the Eric Garner case? How do you feel about that that decision that is set to be made? Do you think it's going to be another slap in the face to our people? Hotep, reinstate automatically well, and thank you for the show.
Okay. Thank
All
you. You're
right,
welcome.
thank you, Cole.
Before we take the call, you want to take the call? You want to just
Yeah,
answer
take
that?
the call. Just remember, we got Eric Garner,
okay.
we got the cameras,
Right.
we got
Okay, I
a
got
bunch
you.
of stuff we're going to do.
Caller, welcome to 30 Frames. You're on the air.
Hi, Nat, this is Winston.
Hey, brother, how you doing?
Winston, how are you?
I'm doing good, man. Listen, I'm as usual. I'm in support. I love what you're doing.
Oh, thank you,
I
brother.
just want to make a comment that when I hear people attacking our president and even Al Sharpton, these are, whether you like them or not, these are people that are getting something done. And as if they don't have enough Republicans attacking them, then we got our own people attacking them. And I just don't think that we should be doing that kind of thing. Okay, that's it. I'm out of here.
All right. Well,
All right.
let me. I personally, thanks for calling. Let's talk about attacking the president. We're not attacking
Yeah,
the
I've
president.
never attacked
we're
the
never
president.
attacked. We
are
can
people who attack the president,
right,
but I don't
we're
attack
not
the
one of them, right?
president. Right.
Now,
Right.
for me, I think he's referring to my not believing in our political leaders. Well, I personally don't think Al Sharpton or Jesse
But
Jackson.
that's your constitutional right.
Right. I don't think they've gotten anything done. That's
And it is my job to question everything.
Absolutely.
It is my
That's our job.
to
That's our
bring
job.
as many facts to
That's correct.
the fore as humanly possible.
That's correct.
And we actually pose the question: has this been effective?
Right.
So
Absolutely.
we given everybody an opportunity to
Their
come up
constitutional
with their own
own-
answer. I didn't
Absolutely.
tell you what to think, but we
Right.
did pose the question:
Right.
have they been effective?
Right. Now let's go back to the Eric Garner. We want
And
to
I
finish.
think it's my job to
Right.
keep doing that.
It is our job.
Right.
We're going to keep doing it. Eric Garner's verdict is getting ready to come.
Right.
At any moment now.
Right. Right.
Now,
Yeah. Go on.
no,
Go on.
I personally think it's going to come back an indictment. I mean,
Fine.
it can't. It cannot. Well,
Fine.
obviously, but
Fine.
it can come back. What do you think?
I think an indictment is a moot point. I think that Darren Wilson should have been indicted. I think it would have been smart to try to appease the crowd because they're never going to convict Darren Wilson. They're never going to convict the people in the Eric Garner case.
You don't think so?
No. They didn't convict. Let me tell you. They mentioned Abner Louima.
I don't know. Right.
Now,
right.
there's a bunch of stuff that came out during that process.
Right.
One of which, the policeman who sodomized Abner Louima
Right.
was so comfortable with his ability to do this that he actually took the stick and paraded it around
Yes,
the police
that's right.
station.
That's right. That is right.
That there were detectives who came into the bathroom while he was doing this.
Right,
One of the detectives who came into the bathroom was Hispanic or Latino.
Right, and didn't do anything.
And they saw this going on and just went out.
Right.
So when you talk about cameras on the helmet and or
on the
whatever,
chest, right.
I really think it's kind of a moot point because the culture itself tells the police department that
It's okay.
nothing is going to happen to them no matter what.
But something has to be done.
Something has to be done.
Something has to be done.
Something has to be
That's
done.
And
that's why I'm saying it has to be taken out of the
political
correct.
arena.
And it has
Right.
to be taken out of the control of the district attorney,
right.
because his relationship with the police department is so symbiotic. I'm
Right.
not even going to say incestuous.
Right.
Symbiotic
Right.
that he cannot function without the
Right.
police.
Right.
The district attorney is, for all intents and purposes, also a political position, because district attorneys who get enough press go on to become multimillionaires,
That's
superstars
true.
themselves.
Right. And hence, Darren Wilson resigning from the
Correct,
Ferguson so he can go write a book.
Correct. After they gave him $1 million,
Right.
they gave him
Right.
they gave Darren Wilson $500,000
Right.
to do this bogus ass interview.
Right.
They never posed any questions to him.
Right.
It was just a bogus ass interview
Right.
from Jump Street. Stephanopoulos, you should be ashamed of
Yeah,
yourself.
yeah,
You
yeah.
should be ashamed of your damn self.
Yeah. It's a
For
scandal.
putting on this
It's a farce. Yes. Of an interview,
and paying
yeah.
this bird $500,000, and he got another
ABC, this
Right,
is why
you should be
we
ashamed of
this is
yourself.
why
You should
we
be
do
ashamed of
what we
yourself.
do, because
Ashamed of
ABC, the media, the networks sanction this
Correct,
crap.
correct. It was
We
a
got a call.
farce.
Let's take this call.
Yeah.
Caller, welcome to 30 Frames.
Hey, would that be me?
Yep,
Yes,
that would
you're
be
on,
you.
brother. You're on.
Hey, what's happening? How's everything?
How
Good,
you
brother.
doing, man? All right.
Good, good. One thing that didn't get mentioned in terms of the Diallo,
Uh-huh.
they tried to, or they did sodomize him with the stick.
Louima. Abner
Louima.
Lima, right?
Right.
And they paraded around with the stick, but that was not before they tried to jam that stick down his throat
Right, right.
and knock his teeth out. And
Correct.
they tried
Correct.
to do that.
Correct.
Now, also, I want to say, as long as black men are dying all across the country, then it is working for the system. People say this not working because we're dying. No, that it is working as long as we're dying. And I'm going to say, as long as we, and I don't want to hear the excuse about what other people do, because we can't worry about what other nations or people do.
Mm-hmm.
But as long as we are killing each other constantly in the streets, walking around with our pants hanging down and behaving in all other kinds of ways that can be threatening to other people when you're exposing your buttocks and all other kind of private parts. Who wants to see that? Okay? And as long as we're doing that, then other nations or people will tend to kill us because we're doing it to ourselves. And I want to say that unless and until we have the same reaction, like the reaction that you saw with people shutting down highways and all that stuff nationwide, until we do that, we individually as black people, without any support from any other nations or people, until we're doing that, when we kill one another, when we're that upset about loss of death,
Well, I don't think that's true.
then things are going to continue to be the same. They're going to continue to. I don't want to hear the stories about what other nations or people are doing. Okay, they may be white on white crime and all that stuff like that, but we don't have time to try and compare ourselves to what they're doing. We have to lift ourselves up and act as the genius and brilliance of the pyramids and all the things that we do. We have to rise up to that again, and until we do that, then the nation, the rest of the nationalities will look upon us as the dark, deep continent, because we behaving deep and dark towards ourselves since the beginning. We have to look at ourselves and we have to correct our behavior. And once we rise up, then the rest of the world will rise up and follow us as they always do.
All right, brother.
Thank you,
We have another
And
call. You said some things I want to address, but we got another call, so
we're running out of time.
Yeah, and
Caller.
we're running out of time.
Thank you, brother. Thank you.
Thank you.
Caller,
he has
welcome
a
to
bunch
30
of stuff
Frames.
I
You
would
can
like
keep
to write,
reminding.
but we're going to do the
Okay.
call. We're going to do
Caller,
the call.
welcome to 30 Frames.
Hey, how you doing, brother?
All right, I'm not getting some of these black folks that always want to give the system a fair shot. Originally, I was brought up on the Lower East Side. I could tell you plenty of times when I used to have like a soda and put it in a brown paper bag and walk by a cop on the corner, and they'll stretch their neck to actually look in that bag to see whether or not I'm drinking an alcoholic beverage. Yet I can go up on Avenue A on a Friday night and see all these white folks walking around with Heineken bottles. Ain't nobody being bothered.
That is true. They can do anything they want.
Eric Gardner and whatnot.
Right.
This brother was choked out for suspicion of selling 50-cent Lucy.
Suspicion.
You know what I'm saying?
Correct. Say it again. Suspicion. Not selling anything. Suspicion when there was no cigarettes and no person that was sold any cigarettes. Right.
And you know what kills me? They want to try and put this out of the way justification. Oh, he was arrested 30 times. Well, a lot of people don't know that in New York City, Nate, you can go home and change about that suit, put on a T-shirt and jeans and whatnot.
I'm glad you brought that up.
Outside. And if you mess around and forget your wallet, the police stop you. Did you know you can go to jail for not having your ID?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So arrests don't mean that you're hitting people over the head, robbing them, or killing them. It's just that they arresting black folks over some of the most minute reasons now.
And people don't understand that.
There's a difference between arrest and conviction.
Right.
You know
a big time difference.
People don't know these things.
Right. All right.
And there's a difference between suspicion of a crime and just harassment.
But let me just say this. That brother was correct. Now, I don't think many people of non-color, or some people don't even take this for granted. I live on the Upper East Side, and I got to tell you, when I wake up in the morning, I got to think about what I'm going to do or what I'm going to wear in order to catch a cab. Right. He was correct. If I put on a pair of jeans, T-shirt, walk out, forget my wallet, I got a chance of being arrested, or I'm definitely not going to get a cab.
Right.
So that you're right. He had a great point. Now you can finish. You can read about the guy, about the pants. I know about the guy.
First of all, black people are not getting murdered because black people make other people uncomfortable. You don't kill people because other people make you uncomfortable. I'm not allowed to go out and murder white people because white people have lynched black people. I'm not allowed to go out and kill the police because I believe the police is an occupying force.
Right.
In point of fact, if you murder black people, and especially black people who have done nothing, you only do it for one reason. You are a murderer.
Right.
And you're looking for some reason to murder people and whatnot.
That's correct.
Also, it seems as though the people who are most afraid of black people have a valid reason to be most afraid of black people, because they have taken advantage of the system the most. You're telling me that a cop was so afraid of a black man in this town that is almost 70% black.
That's right.
But white people got all the jobs, make all the damn money. 50 out of 53 policemen are white. Right. So I guess you should be scared of black people. And you should be more afraid that they're going to take your damn job than you are they're going to take your gun.
Right.
Because if they ever understand the power that they have, it'll be your ass on food stamps and their ass is arresting you.
But
so you should be afraid of black people, but not for the and you are not really afraid of black people for that reason.
Right. But you know what? I'm glad you said that. See, there's where I have to say, you live in a town that is 75% black,
right?
And unemployment is at its highest because mostly all black people.
And not just the police,
no,
the city council, the mayor, everybody is white.
Why is that?
It's like a damn plantation.
Why is that?
It's like a damn plantation.
That's where I come in. Black people, listen, take responsibility, step up to the bat. I'm not talking about step up when it comes to physical violence. Step up. You live in a town of 75% black people. There should be a black mayor. There should be a black city council. There should be more black people on the police department.
Also, let me say this. Let me say this. It's like me going and pissing in the well every day and then not expect the water to not be drinkable. what is going down nationwide in terms of demonstrations?
Right.
I didn't call these demonstrations.
Right.
These demonstrations are of the people, by the people.
For the people.
For the people.
Right.
No leader controls them, and no leader can call them back.
Right.
It really doesn't matter what a person's stepfather is.
Right.
And when you talk about fathers and stepfathers, well, hell, Kennedy's father was a damn Nazi.
Right.
A card-carrying Nazi.
Right. And a bootlegger.
And a bootlegger.
Right.
If we start digging around whose father was this and father was that, there'd be no Irish policemen and whatnot. Because it was born out of a mob, gangland situation that organized you.
Yep.
There'd be no Irish policemen or Irish firefighters.
That's right.
So this stuff about what your daddy did and all that stuff, and that's why that is not justification for the murdering of that young man.
I agree.
What my father did has got nothing to do with me. You deal with me according to what I present.
Right. That's exactly right.
And this stuff about, I'm so scared, that's why I'm killing black people, it's preposterous.
Right.
Also, this notion that somehow we don't care about the violence that goes on in our communities is preposterous. We are fathers, we are grandfathers, we are mothers, we are grandmothers. It is our children and grandchildren that go to prison, that we take up collections to bury them. We have organizations of mothers who have lost 3, 4, 5 children of their own children to violence, that are out there every day like soldiers and whatnot. So if you don't see it, it's because you are not out there, because there are organizations that are involved in this. We are involved in this. You can go to your Google, you can go to your phone book, find an organization, you can do things. That's why I said prayer is cool. Prayer is cool. I'm not saying prayer is bad, but you got to get up off your ass. If you don't get up off your ass, I don't want to hear it. But we're running out of time.
Hey, well, you know what? I want to say, Nat, this has always been a pleasure to be the host of 30 Frames a Second. And guys, I want to say, stand up, have some responsibility for yourselves, be a part of the solution, because if you're not, you're part of the problem. And that's that. You know what? We'll be right back next week, same time. It'll be Nat Wood. It'll be Greg Lassiter. Nat, it's always been a pleasure, man.
Yeah, brother.
You know?
Yeah, we still got we still gonna talk a little while because we got a little bit of time. But they run. It's fly. I came up with the song. You can let the song run. But we are gonna continue to present to you
solutions.
Right, solutions. The actual facts of what happened. We're gonna continue to try to bring you. Remember the tape with the police department, the police chief saying that Darren Wilson was a liar. He didn't know anything about it. They pulled that jack. They pulled that sucker.
You can't find it anyway now. You can't find it anywhere.
They pulled that sucker.
You cannot find it.
And the reason why they pulled it is because it gets in the hands of the people. Because you have not seen these demonstrations, you have not seen these news conferences all over, except places like this show right here.
We're going to keep
pushing it to you live. That's right. Uncut. If you cut somebody's head off, you better not let it get on video camera, and you better not let me get it, because you are going to see somebody's head getting cut off. Peace. We'll see you next week.
See you guys.
Thank you, man.
We're clear. We're clear?